There is a lot of attention right now on, of course, food stamps. We know that RFK, head of HHS, is working hard to try to get some federal bans on what food stamps can be used for, sugary drinks, candy, things like that. We also know, sadly, while this is an important safety net program for millions of Americans, there's also abuse. And no matter where you're at on the issue, rooting out that fraud and abuse should be a no-brainer, whether it's Medicaid or food stamps or anything else that the government provides. So this came out here on social media from the very popular account Libs of TikTok. And it says here, Democrat-appointed Laura Howard of the Kansas Department for Children says she will not share SNAP data, that's food stamps, with the USDA after the USDA requested the information so they can crack down on fraud. I then saw that former governor and current gubernatorial candidate Jeff Colyer sharing yesterday on social media that the Kansas error rate for food stamps doubled to over 12% under current Governor Laura Kelly. During his time as governor, that number was under 6%. So Dr. Colyer is here on KCMO. Jeff, we appreciate the time as always. What should Kansans take away from this information that apparently the Kelly administration or some of the folks she's appointed are trying to block the USDA from gathering?
Yeah, this is outrageous, okay? You need to have a program that functions. People do not want fraud in our government programs. And to have fraud, and then when they call you out on it, say, sorry, we're not going to share any more data with you. We're not going to deal with it. That's outrageous. I don't know whether it is incompetence or they actually want to have more people on food stamps that don't deserve it. And the problem, though, is under the big, beautiful bill, they created incentives for states to have a low error rate. Ours was in the 5s when I was governor and lieutenant governor, had been consistently for years. But then suddenly, as soon as we left office, it started creeping up, and it's even doubled at one point. And under Laura Kelly, I think this is pretty much a competence issue, that they don't care, they don't want it. If anything, they'd like to have more people on food stamps. But the problem is, if you have an error rate over 6%, then the state needs to start paying for a piece of that. And I think that's only reasonable for the American taxpayer to get some of their money back if we have an incompetent person at the switch.
Do you know by chance what the cost is to Kansas taxpayers, whether it's on an annual basis or otherwise, when it comes to the SNAP program?
Yeah, so the way that it works is there's a process that if it is over 6%, you pay about 5%, and if it's over 10%, then you pay 10% of the cost. So right now we spend about $400 million a year on food stamps. That money comes mostly from the federal government, and the administrative cost is covered by the federal government. When you have this higher error rate, you're looking at somewhere between $40 million. The Kelly administration at one point estimated it might be $60 million, and they were saying, see, they're shifting all the costs to the states. No, they're making sure that we do our jobs and do it well.
So what could you do if you get back into the governor's mansion? Is it just appointing the right people, or is there something else you could do to make sure that, we're not wasting any extra money on food stamps in the state of Kansas, and that it's just being used by, the people who need a temporary hand up?
That's what it's supposed to be there for, is, we're a compassionate state, a compassionate country. We're going to help those that need help. But we need to save our resources for those who actually need real assistance. This is an easier problem to fix. When you go and you look at it, what happened was when the people that are ticking the boxes, so they do an interview over the telephone, and they need to collect numbers like how much rent do you pay, what's your income this month, what other expenses, how many kids. And it's a matter of clicking the right box on this. This is not rocket science. This is, some minor training fixes, better software. There's a few things that you can do to just mind your P's and Q's. When you set expectations to get the job done and do it well, you do it well. When you don't care and you want to sign more people up, and then you do things like, oh, sorry, we're not going to help you, federal government, that's abuse. That is just rank incompetence.
So in the last minute, Dr. Jeff Colyer here on KCMO Talk Radio, when you look at the issues that exist in Kansas, is Kansas an outlier compared to the states around it, or do you think this is a deeper issue in many states that people aren't talking enough about?
Well, our neighbors to the north of us, Nebraska, they're doing far better than Kansas. We've had Missouri has been back and forth on this number. We were able to do this very consistently for 8 years. As when I was lieutenant governor and governor, we were always in the fives and even lower than that at one point. This is a basic blocking and tackling sort of thing, and you need real executive experience. You need business experience. If businesses had a payment error rate of 8% or 10%, they'd be out of business in no time. This is one where you watch your P's and Q's, you do it well, and you start making it better and better. This is a computer error, that we can fix. This is better training for the people that do it. These are horrible expectations and a horrible standard to set. It's incredibly upsetting, and it's going to cost us millions of dollars, and we're just going to aid and abet fraud.
Yeah.
We can't do that.
Jeff Colyer, he is running for governor coming up next year, and he's on KCMO. Thank you so much there, Doc. We appreciate the time as always. Thanks for the insight.
Hey, it's always great to be with you, Pete. We're going to fix Kansas. We're going to get this right.
There you go. Jeff Colyer on KCMO.